Hello, my friends. Welcome in. As I'm sure you've seen all over Twitter and the other FM content creators, Football Manager officially on their YouTube channel and on their Twitter account has put out the new feature preview for FM21. I've watched through this once on my phone. It's a minute long, and so it went super fast. I've slowed it down, and I'm going to pause a lot as we go through this. I'm going to just say I didn't see anything that I thought was a game changer. It's not that I'm concerned about that, because we all know, like, if you love Football Manager, you're going to keep playing it, right? And this isn't necessarily going to be all the features, and it's not like last year, at least not yet, where they had, pages on the website that described the changes in the game. So this might just be like the quick hits. I am going to put out a video later this week with like things that I wish we would see changes for, and just mentally thinking through that list. I didn't see anything that really checked the box for me. But let's take a look at it. So I'm actually going to mute this because it's got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so actually, it starts here. All right, setting up the game database. So start building your squad. Okay, so let's just take a step back here, just so we can get the full shot of that squad screen, right? Wait for it. Okay, we got inbox squad, dynamics, tactics, team report, staff training, medical center schedule, all this looks the same. Okay, and then they're going to show you they've changed, it looks like, the condition and the match sharpness. I don't know if that's an upgrade, personally. Like, is that match sharpness going down? I don't know what's wrong with the numbers. Is this really a feature, right? I guess. Maybe you highlight over it and it gives you that, or maybe it's saying, maybe you're like me, and if they're below like 92%, they don't play or they don't start. And maybe it's saying like, hey, they got a green thumb, it's going to be fine. Or they got a green heart with the heart cardiogram thing in it, they're going to be fine. So I thought that was kind of interesting. On here, it's got your recruitment meeting where you can select, I guess, the order of your targets. First and second, I want a left wing back. Here's why. Our first choice in this role due to contract ending, and we lack depth. So maybe that's a way for you to, you can't just have one target. It's like, go find me a bunch of these, right? Bid for players. I did think this was interesting. You click transfer. The only thing that looks significantly different, right, is ask agent about availability. I could see this being something where, like, it's cool, and then it gets really annoying because, other teams are going to ask your players' agents. But, like, that makes sense, right? Like, instead of going straight to the club, you call the agent and go like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Agent, what's going on? Like, are they, what's up? And maybe forcing a move. So maybe that's like a sneak peek that there's a bigger feature about, unsettling players. Okay, handle the media. Okay. I thought this was confusing because I'm like, I thought that was short for a goalkeeper, but then you realize this is about the media, and this is like the media, like, organizations. So goal. Okay, so you have like a panel that, so maybe there's a thing where like you can have your favorite and favorite or least favorite journalists. Okay, so will the new signings start? So is it just a different way of doing press conferences? Because we've all complained for years, like, press conferences, they're cool, and then they're not, like, after like half a season. You can plan out your tactics, is what it looks like. If that's a big game coming up, you're gonna perfect your tactics maybe for that game. Pre-match advice, drop deeper, agree, but like, we already have a feature where you get the recommendations. Maybe it's more nuanced, because based on the strengths of the opponent. That would be interesting. I thought this was kind of interesting. You could talk to the players and spread out your arms. You open your arms wildly towards the player, which appears to improve their body language. So that, to me, could be an interesting thing where it's just like, it's maybe the dialogue tree is getting bigger with journalism or journalists and with players, where you're like, I want to give them a hug. And it's like, oh, you can give them a hug. Or you could say, it's not just saying, I've been really pleased with your training performance. I've been really pleased with your training performance. Hey, manage the game in more detail. What does that mean? Okay, you get expected goals, and it's the match of the story. Again, this sounds to me like it's interesting. But it almost, I kind of go like, are you really going to look at it line by line, or is there like something as you're scrolling along this line with your cursor that it does something like over there, like further over there to like pop up? Or is it just showing you how FM'd you were, right? Like how weird of a game it was, right? Like I saw like in the 66th minute of the Liverpool Aston Villa game where Villa smashed Liverpool 7-2, it was like the expected goals for Villa was 1.5 and for Liverpool was like 1.33 or something like that at the 66th minute, and obviously the score was not that at that point. So does this help you do anything, or is it just like, yeah, you really didn't deserve to win that game, or you really shouldn't have won that game, but you did because you had a great finish or something like that? So I think it could be interesting, but is it going to be interesting long term, or is it just like a cool little thing? That'll be interesting. Your shot map that shows you your, it sounds like they've taken the data analysis screen and like updated it, right? So maybe you've got a striker or a midfielder that takes really poor, low expected goal shots from out here, and maybe you can train against that versus obviously, this is a high expected goal because you're in the 6-yard box. Maybe you can tweak stuff. Again, this is just a quick hit because, again, this is showing you that data analysis screen, but like, what can you do with it? They're not going to show you everything. This is the first peek, right? This I thought was kind of curious because this looks like a different while the match is going on screen. Like you've got, instead of having your two boxes where like if you're watching my saves, you get the two boxes in the middle, you get the match stats or whatever. So it looks like they've dropped the substitutes bench down here, which is kind of interesting. Or those starters. No, I guess maybe that's the team that's currently playing. Like, is this a different view to where as you're going through matches, maybe you could see the game going on behind you, but it's still going to give you the big box up in the middle? And they've updated the graphics so it slides in, looks professional. That's nice. And then lead your team to glory. Okay, so it looks like there's, oh, you can't see it because I've got my, hold on, there we go. You see that down there? It looks like a tactic, right? 4-3-3 gegenpress full tactics. It's kind of behind me there, behind the timestamp. Like, so maybe there's a way that you can change things more readily there. At first glance, the crowds look a little more like crowds, and there's a giant camera. I can't tell you if there's a giant camera right now. It looks like there's at least a little bit more stuff on the sides, but like this doesn't look dramatically different to me. Moments to remember at the end of the season, right? You get your biggest win, your highest scoring match goal of the season. We already kind of get some variation of this, right? Like your moment to remember, your moment to forget, but it's presented differently. Okay. And then I'm just gonna see if is there anything hidden at the end? No. Okay. So that's your first glance. Again, there didn't like, they haven't announced all the licensing stuff. I've seen some rumors that like maybe the Premier League is finally in it from a licensing standpoint. Obviously you saw the Bundesliga right there. That's not new, but it's still there. So it's just kind of curious to go, okay, like I'm intrigued, but if it is just you change the 75% match sharpness to a down yellow arrow, I'm kind of gonna think that's not really a step forward. But again, this is this is just me talking. This is a first glance. I have no idea what is actually going to happen, right? So it's hard to tell at a 1-minute clip where they did it really fast with lots of techno music to really get a determination as to what the game's going to be like. But I'm curious what your thoughts are. Based off of this. Again, they're going to, dribble out some more content in the coming weeks. And I'm sure we'll learn a lot more and be able to have more substantiated thoughts and opinions. But I'm curious what your thoughts are. Make sure you leave those in the comment. If it's something that you're interested in, the giant pre-purchase button right there, there's a way for you to support the channel. I'm actually going to try and remember to put a link up at the top right there for you that walks you through the available options. I'm currently partnered with Humble Bundle, where you get 10% off like you do with Steam, but also I get a cut as well as a charity gets a cut. There are some other ways to get it less expensive than that. So I share those with you, but you do have to be careful, like, are those legitimate or not, versus, like, obviously 2Game is legitimate, but I'm not partnered with them. Humble Bundle is definitely legitimate, you know, stuff like that. So make sure you check those out. Thanks for watching, and I'm curious what your thoughts are. Again, this is literally the second time I watched it. It's like, boom, watch it. Let's just go. First thoughts and opinions without, like, really diagnosing it. What do you think? Have a good one.